Interstate 70, known simply as I-70, is one of America's great arteries, a major east-west highway that stretches from Interstate 15 near Cove Fort, Utah, all the way to I-695 in Woodlawn, Maryland, just outside Baltimore. It runs more than 2,100 miles through the heart of the United States, crossing mountains, plains, and farmland, a route of connection, commerce, and travel. But for decades, the same road has also carried something darker. Along this ribbon of asphalt, two predators, separated by time but united by geography, turning the open highway into their hunting ground. One man stalked young men, many drawn from the Indianapolis gay community, strangled and left discarded in ditches, rivers, and fields that lined the interstate. The other targeted young women working alone in quiet shops that sat just off the same highway, each shot in the back of the head, their stores robbed of only pocket change. Both killers, hunting the same corridor, both vanished without a trace, and both remained unidentified to this day. This is a story of two murder sprees that bookended a decade, and the haunting question that lingers across the Midwest: were these two killers along I-70, or just one man whose methods and victims changed with time? My name is Sean. Welcome to my channel. I meant to post last week, but I've been sick. It's that time of year, I think. But I still have other videos that I can post when I'm not available to do this, which I know people like the true crime instead. So let's just get started with today's true crime. Our story begins in 1980, Indiana, the heart of the Midwest. June 16th, 1980, the naked body of 15-year-old Michael Petrie is found dumped in rural Hamilton County, Indiana, strangled. No drugs, no alcohol, just the quiet brutality of suffocation. Michael was a regular in Indianapolis's gay bar scene, a place where men sought connections in an era where being gay could still ruin your life. Despite his young age, he was a male prostitute. Over the next decade, bodies began to appear along I-70 in ditches, rivers, and creeks, all within a few miles of the highway. All men, all strangled. The killer's victims shared a pattern: young, often between their teens to their 30s, last seen near Indianapolis gay bars, found naked or partially clothed, dumped along the same rural corridor, Interstate 70. Next found was Maurice Taylor, 23, who was found in July of 1982 in Weasel Creek in rural Hamilton County, just outside Atlanta. Maurice was a vagrant who offered sexual services at gay bars. No cause of death could be established, and it took 8 months to identify him. Next up was Devoid Lee Baker, 14. He was the only black victim, and still some police think that because of this, he was not related to the crimes. He was selling his body at gay bars for $25 a night. He was found in a river in Hamilton County. One witness said they saw him board a blue van driven by a young white man with a bushy mustache. Michael Andrew Riley, 22, was found on July 5th, 1983, in a ditch in Hancock County, just southwest of Greenfield. Like the others, he was strangled and had been at the gay bars that night he went missing, either the Vogue Theater or the Broad Ripple. Eric Allen Rotger, 17, was found a few days after he went missing on July 7th, 1985. He was located in a stream in Preble County, Ohio, east of Lewisburg. He too had been strangled, but his friends and family denied that he was gay. He went missing at a bus stop after accepting a ride from a passing car. Police noticed other disturbing details. The killer seemed comfortable. He wasn't rushing, he was methodical and careful. Michael Allen Glenn, 29, was found in a ditch near Eaton, Ohio, in August of 1986. Strangulation marks, possibly from a rope, were found around his neck. He was identified 3 years after his discovery with the help of fingerprinting. James Robbins, 21, went missing on October 15th, 1987. 2 days later, his naked corpse bearing strangulation marks was found in a ditch in rural Shelby County near I-80 south of Gwenville. While investigating his murder, police located two witnesses who gave conflicting information. One claimed that they had seen a red Jeep Renegade near the crime scene, while another said the car was a Chevy Blazer. Jean Paul Talbot, 26, was found strangled to death in May 1989. His body had been dumped near a stream in Defiant County, Ohio. Unfortunately, I could not find a picture of him, and all I could find is his gravestone. Stephen L. Elliott, 26, was found August 1989 in rural Preble County, Ohio, again near I-70. He had been strangled. Elliott's father told police that when his son came out as gay in 1979, he then left the family household and became involved in prostitution, developing an alcohol addiction. Clay Russell Boatman, 32, a licensed practical nurse, disappeared in August of 1990 after leaving to visit Our Place, a local gay bar. His body, showing signs of strangulation, was found in a ditch by a group of children near Eaton, Ohio. When they were interviewed, Boatman's family denied that he was homosexual. Thomas Clevenger Jr., 19, vanished at the end of August 1990, and his corpse was later found at an abandoned railroad track near Greenville, Ohio. Shortly before his death, he engaged in prostitution near gay bars to earn money, a fact denied by his mother and sister. Then, on October 7th, 1991, the final known victim, Otto Gary Becker, 42, was discovered along a gravel road in rural Henry County, Indiana. Witnesses claim they saw Becker in a car with two men before he died, but no arrests were ever made. Between 1980 and 1991, at least 12 men were murdered by what the media dubbed the I-70 Strangler. Task force formed to catch him was one of the largest in Indianapolis history. Yet, with few clues, investigators began to theorize, was this one killer or two? The FBI profilers split the case in half. One theory described a younger man, early 20s to 30s, a closeted homosexual filled with self loathing and rage, his crimes impulsive and disorganized. The other described an older, successful man, possibly married, living a double life, meticulous, calm, controlling. But who could live such a life? Respected businessman by day and predator at night? The answer might have emerged years later in the form of one Herbert Bauermeister, a successful Indianapolis businessman, owner of a chain of thrift stores. Bauermeister was known as eccentric but polite, a devoted husband and father. But behind the closed gate of his estate, Fox Hollow Farm, laid a nightmare. In the mid 1990s, police found the skeletal remains of at least 7 men buried on his property. All had vanished from Indianapolis gay bars between 1993 and 1995. When the police tried to question him, Bowermaster fled to Canada and took his own life with a single gunshot. On July 24th, 1996, investigators uncovered 10,000 charred and crushed human bone fragments from at least 11 people on the grounds of Fox Hollow Farms. A renewed search on December 4th, 2022 resulted in the recovery of another bone and revealed 20 additional possible burial sites. So far, only 10 of the victims that's tied to Herb have been identified. 3 other sets of remains are still unidentified, though all are believed to be male homicide victims. Authorities are urging families with relatives who went missing in the Indianapolis area between the mid 1980s and mid 1990s to submit DNA samples to help with the identification. Those identified are John Lee, or Johnny Bear, who's age 20, Jeffrey Allen Jones, age 31, Richard Douglas Hamilton Jr., aged 20, Alan Lee Livingston, aged 27, Daniel Thomas Halloran, he was either 21 or 22, Stephen Sperlin Hale, age 28, Alan Wayne Sard, age 28, Roger Allen Goodlett, age 33, Michael Frederick Karen, age 45, and Manuel Resendez, age 34. Investigators later linked Bauermeister to multiple unsolved murders, including the I-70 strangulation victims. The timeline fits, the location fits, even the victim's profile fits. As one detective noted, once he had a private place to dump his victims, Fox Hollow Farms, the I-70 bodies stopped appearing. But despite these chilling parallels, no physical evidence ever tied Bayermeister to the earlier murders. To this day, the I-70 strangler remains officially unidentified. 1 year after the last known I-70 strangulation murder, another killer emerged. Same highway, different prey, same cold precision. April 8th, 1992, Indianapolis. Inside a Payless Shoe Source, 26-year-old manager Robin Fowdaller is found dead in the back room, shot once in the head. Cash register empty, less than $100 taken. It seemed like a robbery, but within weeks, investigators would realize it was something much darker. 3 days later, April 11th, in Wichita, Kansas, two women, Patricia Smith, 23, and Patricia Magers, 32, are found murdered inside their bridal shop, both shot execution style. A witness, a customer who arrived minutes after, described a slender white man with reddish hair carrying an Uzi style weapon. He later provided details for a composite sketch of the killer. Then, April 27th, in Terre Haute, Indiana, 40-year-old Michael McCown is shot dead in his mother's ceramic store. He was likely mistaken for a woman. Investigators believe that the killer thought Sylvia's ceramic was run by a female clerk. Michael had long hair and a ponytail and was kneeling while stocking shelves when he was shot. May 3rd, St. Charles, Missouri. 24-year-old Nancy Kitzmiller shot in the back of the head at Boot Village. She opened the store at noon and was found dead by a customer at 2:30. Nancy was supposed to be off that day, but agreed to work for a coworker. May 7th, Raytown, Missouri. 37-year-old Sarah Blessing murdered in her shop, the Store of Many Colors. The murder occurred during the day, and the owner of the video store next door saw the killer enter the shop, heard a pop, and saw him leave. He discovered Sarah's body after checking to see what had happened in the store. A clerk at a nearby grocery store also saw the suspect. He was climbing the hill toward I-70. 5 murders, 5 states, one highway, I-70, all killed with the same .22 caliber pistol, all shot in the back of the head, all small retail stores, small amounts of money stolen. Witnesses described the killer as a thin white male, late 20s to 30s, 5'7" to 5'9", with sandy or reddish hair and drooping eyelids. Police gave him the name the I-70 Killer. A year later, in Texas, 3 more shootings would bear the same hallmark. September 1993, Mary Ann Glasscock, 51, killed inside an antique shop in Fort Worth. November, Amy Vess, 22, was shot in a dancewear store in Arlington. And January 1994, Vicky Webb, 35, was shot point blank in Houston. But Webb survived. The bullet struck a vertebrae and ricocheted, sparing her life. She recalled the killer calmly speaking to her, then firing without hesitation. When his gun jammed as he tried again, he fled, thinking she was dead. The weapon and method matched, but ballistic testing showed a different gun was used. But still, the behavior, calm, cold, deliberate, was the same. And then nothing. These new 3 attacks were all done with a .22 caliber firearm, but ballistics determined that it was not the same gun as previous killings. Then in 2001 in Terre Haute, near one of his previous crime scenes, another clerk, Billy Brossman, 31, was executed in his liquor store. Security footage captured a man fitting the same description, but despite modern technology, the killer was never identified. This murder was just 7 blocks away from the murder of Michael McCown. There were two individuals who were suspected of doing these killings, but they were eventually eliminated as suspects. Investigators believed that the killer is between 52 and 70 years old if he's still alive. Two killers, two eras, two very different victims, but one highway, Interstate 70. Could these crimes be connected? On the surface, they couldn't be more different. The I-70 strangler targeted men, often gay, many prostitutes, strangled over a span of 11 years. His murders were intimate, physical, deeply personal. The I-70 killer targeted women, shot from behind, quick and efficient. In just 1 month, his killings were detached, almost businesslike. But investigators have noticed unsettling parallels. Both operated in Indiana and along I-70. Both exhibited control, planning, and almost surgical precision, and both seem to have vanished into thin air. Some theorize the killers might represent two psychological evolutions of a man, beginning with the strangulation born of sexual repression, then transforming into an impersonal execution as he aged, swapping hands on violence for distance and detachment. Others believe it's pure coincidence that the highway simply connects multiple predators who saw opportunities in the same lonely stretch of road. Even decades later, age progression sketches of the I-70 killer circulate, depicting what he might look like today, possibly in his 60s or 70s. Police believe he might still be alive somewhere along the same interstate. As for the I-70 strangler, many still believe his true name died with Herb Bauermeister. Others, including a local reporter, insist the wrong man was blamed. The real killer or killers still walk free. In the end, both stories remind us how fragile the line is between ordinary and evil. Two predators, separated by time, connected by a highway that stretches like a scar across America's heartland. Hundreds of miles of asphalt, thousands of travelers, and somewhere out there, ghosts of those who never made it home. Both cases remain unsolved. If you have any information relating to the I-70 strangler or the I-80 killer, contact your local law enforcement or the FBI tip line. So I'm Sean. Thank you for watching. Be good to each other. Be good to yourself. Love y'all. I'll see you next time. Bye.